Ashley Madison is a cheater's utopia, an adulterer's dreamland, and even after a life-altering data breach in 2015, the website is still active and thriving because life is short. Have an affair. I feel like we have to start with Sam, aka Dirty Little Secret Man.
My stupid screen name was Dirty Little Secret Man.
What a weird username. A lot of people romanticize marriage. They fall in love with the idea of falling in love. And I feel like Sam is that type of person.
I had imagined my life being exciting, and it wasn't exciting anymore.
He said he didn't want to leave his family, he just wanted more excitement in his life because, like a lot of people, he felt that his life had become repetitive and predictable. But Sam really just needed to say it with his damn chest and tell his wife that he was bored with their relationship, because that's exactly what it was. He just got bored. And he was trying to bring the excitement back to their marriage via cheating or companionship. I don't know. He really didn't say, actually flat out said he wasn't looking for sex. He was looking for just fun, whatever that means. He wanted to have fun with his wife again. And of all the things that allowed that to happen, it was making a YouTube video lip syncing to Love is an Open Door from Frozen. This man was happy again and actually got off of the site before the hack. But we all know that deleting an account doesn't actually mean that it's deleted. That information is 100% stored. It might not be stored forever, but it's definitely stored for the short term. And when it comes to that paid delete thing that Ashley Madison was claiming to have done, that really is just straight up fraud. If you're not only going to say that you're completely deleting a person's profile and data from your website, but you're also going to charge them $20 for it, then you better actually delete their data from the website.
I thought the paid delete in the beginning was a great idea. Well, that brought in a lot of money, like a couple $1 million in a very short period of time. There was no paid delete. Nothing was getting deleted.
But yeah, Sam and his wife, ironically, were able to find joy in their marriage again through making YouTube videos. And I know family vloggers have a bad rep, and this is exactly why. In Sam's defense, once the leak happened, he did immediately tell his wife, look, my name is going to be on this Ashley Madison list, just a heads up. So at least he told her before the internet told her. And because they had this YouTube channel, which I need to check to see if it's still up because I'm interested. Of course, he had to hop his ass in front of a camera and do the apology. I'm sorry, I'm repenting, because the whole thing was they were a Christian family.
I made the account 2 years ago. This was brought to my wife's attention. She has forgiven me for this mistake that I made. I've sought forgiveness to God and He's forgiven me. So I've been completely cleansed of this sin.
Now at first I was so confused on why his wife was in this documentary. I was like, either Netflix is being really petty, which they could be, or they are paying her a pretty penny to be on this documentary next to her ex-husband. But then I found out they were still together and I was like, oh, she stayed with them, so shout out to them. I hope their marriage is thriving. Hey y'all, it's Nae. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for the Netflix documentary on Ashley Madison, so if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on this crazy documentary, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation. And give this video a like before you go, so I know you enjoyed it. So at the time of the hack, Ashley Madison had 35 to 40 million members. Now that number is a little hard to comprehend. That would mean that there are a shit ton of people looking to have extramarital relationships, or that there are a shit ton of people looking to be with someone who's looking to have an extramarital relationship. But it turns out that number may not be accurate because a lot of the profiles were fake. I don't think anybody is surprised that a man created this site. In fact, I don't even think we're surprised that this man created this site.
We're sexual beings, and some of us will always find a way to have multiple partners.
Now from a 2024 standpoint, I'm thinking about this, like, why would anybody go on this site and input all of their information and think that it's going to be safe just because the site says it's going to be safe? But then you have to realize that this happened kind of early in the internet's life, I guess. This is back in 2015 and when the site was launched. I think they said it was launched in 2002, so that's even earlier. The internet, I don't even think the internet came out until, what, 97? I don't know. I had a computer that was a Windows 98, so that's the only mark that I have for when the internet was a real thing. Yeah, so people weren't really thinking that the internet could be hacked. People barely knew what the internet was in 2002 when this site was launched. So there wasn't really an idea of someone going on and stealing your data and leaking it to literally everyone in the world. Now we know literally any site can be hacked. I feel like those credit monitoring sites get hacked all the time, and I know because I'm a member of a few of them, and I've definitely gotten a couple of emails over several years saying, hey, your data was potentially compromised, we're sorry, we're gonna do a free background check, or whatever it is. I get emails like that. I feel like I've seen at least 2 of them. And that's coming from a site that has not only my address, not only my full name, but my social security number. They should be the safest site to put your information into, and even they can get hacked. So we know now that pretty much anybody can get hacked. And much like the general public wasn't concerned about Ashley Madison getting hacked, Ashley Madison wasn't concerned about Ashley Madison getting hacked.
I think it was very well understood that if any of the web properties were hacked, it would have been almost catastrophic. The hope was that it wouldn't happen.
Sir, what do you mean you just hoped that you wouldn't get hacked? What is that even? That's not even a real statement. You're supposed to be the one making sure that you don't get hacked. Then they said they were photoshopping these fake security awards, and I was like, oh, this is gonna take an even bigger turn. Like, this is about to snowball into something else.
We had all kinds of medals on our website, which gave the impression that like we were rock solid, airtight.
Turned out to have been totally made up. Somebody at the site must have made it using Photoshop.
How crazy is it that it ended up being the lying and the fraud done by the higher ups at Ashley Madison that led to the hacking? It wasn't that the impact team, whether or not that's one person or 5 or 10 people, it wasn't the fact that they were some vigilantes who hated cheaters. It ended up being that they just didn't like that Ashley Madison was committing fraud to its users. So they were like, yeah, we think we're just gonna hack because you don't even have security. And not only are we gonna hack because you don't have security, in hacking you, we're gonna show everybody that you lack security. I did not realize that this process happened so slowly. I thought the hack happened and all of the names were released. But it turns out that they had a full month, a full 30 days to not only comply with what the hackers wanted, but also to figure out who the hackers were. Which, by the way, it's crazy that they still haven't figured it out. We're in 2024. In addition to the 30 days, they were given an ultimatum. Most major corporations in a capitalistic society such as America are a business first, meaning their mind is pretty much always on the bottom line and making money. Money comes first, money over everything. So when presented with the ultimatum to either shut down your site and lose out on the $250,000 per day that you are making in revenue, or jeopardize the identities of all of your cheating spouses, that business is probably going to choose to keep making that $250,000 a day because at the end of the day, they're a business and they want to make money. The closest Ashley Madison actually got to protecting their user is actually when they were talking about how they handled inquiries for the charges.
I had a lot of wives calling. They would say, I have this $19 charge on my card. I don't recognize it. We would just tell them, you know, it's not your name on the card. Unfortunately, we're unable to assist you.
Agents would say, well, we are a generalized billing company and we bill across many different web properties. We are unsure of exactly what this ties back to, but we will reverse the charge so you don't have to worry about it.
And even then, the bottom line was about making more money, not necessarily about protecting the identity of these cheating husbands. It all ended up being about money for Ashley Madison. But what do you do when the person who is hacking you doesn't want to take the money that you're offering them? The hackers could not be bribed. They were very clear in what they wanted. Shut down the site or we released it. And not only did they release it, I believe they released it in 3 different waves. There was an initial release of names, then they did a bigger one, and then they did not only a release of names, but a release of private emails with the CEO and floor plans of the office, all of these things that led everyone to believe that whoever hacked Ashley Madison probably was an employee at Ashley Madison. So what do you even do in that case? Do you have to fire the entire workforce at that point and then just hire all new people? Because I would be concerned about the fact that the person who is the hacker is still working there. Ironically, another great example of this kind of capitalistic mindset is this Australian radio station who urged their listeners to call in with their spouse's emails so that they can input them into a website online and see if the email showed up on Ashley Madison. And they would search it live on the air. Is that not also profiting off of cheaters because they're using the list in order to bring ratings and listeners to their radio station? Maybe they're doing it a little differently than Ashley Madison, but they're still participating.
All right, now, Joe, you've rung us. You're a little bit suspicious about your partner.
The hours have changed. You know, his phone's very close to him now.
He's actually on the website, Joe.
Oh, these websites are disgusting.
Oh, I don't know if I should have done that.
Now, I will say that they acted fast to try to figure out who these hackers or solo hacker was. Calling in another hacker from out of the country to try to fix your hacker problem, you know you got a serious situation on your hands. Now, the Impact Team hackers sound like the anonymous hackers, except their goal is to take down a company that's committing fraud and I guess cheater instead of taking down the government. Impact Team is probably watching this documentary, rubbing their hands together right now like they never figured it out. now it's definitely me. They might even still be working at Ashley Madison right now, sipping tea, waiting for the documentary to come out. Because I truly do think it was an inside job too. That's kind of what all of the investigation ended on, is that they knew too much personal information and they were speaking kind of too comfortably to the CEO. What was his name? Noel? No. So it felt like it was someone who knew the workspace intimately, which would mean that it was an employee. But at least the hackers had a sense of humor, because breaking the entire website and then blasting rock music is kind of funny. Like, I would have laughed at that if I would have saw that. All that said, I do not think that doxing people is humorous at all. Now, I don't know if most people would consider this doxing because they technically didn't like hunt down people's information, they just leaked it, but I consider that to be doxing, and I think it's fucked up. I know that there are a lot of people who would view the Ashley Madison data breach as ethical hacking because they were doing a good service by, you know, exploiting cheaters, but I just don't see it that way. It makes me feel kind of uneasy, especially because how things continue to unfold after the fact. We are all humans, we all do fucked up shit sometimes. But I would literally feel like I had blood on my hands if I had a hand in someone unaliving themselves, like this woman's husband did. It's too much, and I think it was taken too far, and I agree with his wife.
Jesus said, "Let you who is without sin cast the first stone." And I don't think any of us is qualified. In this culture today, is somebody makes one mistake or says one thing and we want to write them off. The people who just were pouring over that list in the Ashley Madison leak, the witch hunt, there's just a self-righteousness in that. We all have a list that we're on that is something that we're not proud of, that is our secret.
I am surprised that the people in the documentary seem surprised that Noel was a cheater, because I could see that he was a cheater right away. He is successfully running marketing for a company that caters to cheaters. He knows his audience, and he knows his audience personally because he is his audience. And to be honest, his wife never looked happy during any of these interviews. She always looked like she knew exactly what he was doing, and she was just there to essentially be a poster child, literally and figuratively, because they actually had her on poster. And it was her job to play the good wife and the wife that's standing by her husband. And yes, my husband is running a company that's targeted towards cheaters, but my husband's not a cheater. I think we all saw through that. I think more than anything, this documentary has served as a reminder and a refresher on the fact that none of your data is safe on the internet. And I'm not even saying if you're a cheater, I'm just saying sending personal information via email or online in general to even your friends and family, it simply isn't as safe as we think it is. Now, I know I'm getting ready to lose a few people at this point in the review because I'm about to get into some unpopular opinions. As someone with a bachelor's degree in marketing, I really have to appreciate the marketing behind Ashley Madison. It's fucking genius. Even down to the reasoning behind naming the site Ashley Madison.
Those were the two most popular girl names, Ashley and Madison. It seemed a little upper class, so you felt the site had a certain pedigree.
He's completely right. Even after this entire scandal, the name Ashley Madison sounds classy, it sounds sophisticated. Even though most people probably think it sounds sleazy now because they have this cheater connection with it, it still sounds classier than Tinder. The decision to make the site credits based was also a genius idea. It kind of plays on human psychology, which pretty much all marketing does, even down to the layout of your local target. It all plays on the psychology of humans, how humans think, human behavior. Oftentimes when you're walking through a store like Target, the stuff that you actually need is towards the back of the store. Things like household supplies, groceries, all to the back of the store. And that's by design, it's on purpose. Because that means you have to walk by a bunch of stuff that you don't need, but you might want. And it's gonna cause you to go, what's that? Let me take a look. It's gonna make you browse. And the more you browse, the more likely you are to spend money on shit that you don't need. Now, Evan Back, who is pretty funny, I think, talks about the fact that most dating sites are a monthly subscription. Ashley Madison was different and might still be different. I don't know, I haven't been on the site. I don't know how it's looking right now, but I know it's still up because I did Google it. When I saw that this was coming out, I was like, is this site still up? Completely still up. Yeah. You ain't gonna find my email on there. Although I am curious to see how the site operates after this, but if I did, I would make a whole YouTube video about it so that everyone is clear on why my email would be on there. But anyway, with Ashley Madison, you had to buy credits in order to send messages. So when you're browsing through the website and you're seeing all these women, oh, I'd like to talk to her, I'd like to talk to her, I'd like to talk to her. And the more you browse, the more messages you want to send. The more money you're gonna spend on those credits to send those messages. Just like walking through a Target store, you're kind of walking through Ashley Madison passing a bunch of stuff that you definitely do not need, but you're browsing. It's a genius idea to make people pay, essentially buy the message versus making them pay a flat monthly fee and saying you can send 50,000 messages this month if you want. Even the decision to film one of their commercials in the daytime, well, you're doing this during work hours, so it's scandalous, it's sneaky, you know, it gives that kind of adrenaline rush that I would assume people who are going to be on a site like Ashley Madison are looking for. At the end of the day, this is America, and America runs on Dunkin', and America runs on capitalism. Almost anyone can start almost any kind of business. It doesn't really mean that they should, but they pretty much can if they want to. And so long as the audience is there, they might make a few dollars off of it. That is the name of the game for capitalism. Anyone can get it, or at least the idea that anyone can get it. Now, is it Ashley Madison's fault for seeing an opportunity and capitalizing off of it? I don't know. Some would say no. I might say no, because I would really put more of the blame on the person who's seeking out cheating. They were probably gonna cheat anyway, and I know that's kind of an iffy point to make, but that's the reality. They were probably gonna cheat anyway. We know that because of what Sam did. Ashley Madison just funneled them all into one website. So, I don't know. In a society where we run on capitalism, I don't know if I can be mad at a company for exploiting kind of an untapped industry, I guess, because that's essentially what they did. And I do wonder if any other sites like Ashley Madison exist even to this day. I haven't heard of any. I guess you wouldn't hear of any sites that people go on to cheat, but I haven't heard of any. I only know of sites with single people. I mean, we found out that Sam wasn't even just testing the waters on Ashley Madison. For years, he had been testing the waters IRL with friends of him and his wife, coming on to them. He made his wife lose a very close friend because he was shooting his shot at the friend, and the friend was like, no. Ashley Madison didn't make him do that. He was already doing it. And I have another hot take for you. And some people might feel a way about this too. And I know, but hey, it's really how I feel. A lot of women romanticize cheating. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but a lot of women do romanticize cheating. We see it in books, we see it in TV shows, we see it in movies. For example, the TV show Scandal. The entire premise of Scandal is kind of teetering around this idea that Olivia Pope, one of the main characters, is having an affair with the president. Let me just say it again. Olivia Pope is having an affair with the president of the United States of America in the show Scandal, the very popular show Scandal, a show that I love and have watched twice. There's also literally this show called The Affair, which I'm also watching. I started watching it a while ago, I haven't finished it, but that show is your standard young girl meets hot, older, married guy, and they start having an affair. Netflix just dropped the movie Miller's Girl with Jenna Ortega, which I thought was great, by the way. And that movie is about a student who is trying to have an affair with her teacher, and the teacher is fantasizing about having an affair with her. These shows, these movies, these books are not targeted towards men. They have a overwhelmingly large women fan base. The target audience is women, and it's women who love them. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people root for Fitz and Olivia Pope in the show Scandal. Everybody wants them to be together. I want them to be together. And he's committing adultery as the president of the United States, but I want him to end up with Olivia because they're selling that fantasy of, well, they just love each other and it's gonna be magical. They sell that and they do a damn good job at selling it. But how many people are willing to turn that fantasy or that romanticization into a reality? Maybe not too many women. And that's probably why, on top of committing fraud, Ashley Madison was literally catfishing its male users before catfishing was even a thing. There is no better indication of this company being all about money than the fact that these men realistically probably never had an opportunity to actually meet a real woman because all the women were bots, or most of the women were bots.
Turns out that Ashley Madison's members, as many people suspected, were not just overwhelmingly male, but the women, in many cases, may simply have not existed.
One of the most compelling pieces of evidence that these were fake profiles is that they were all coming from the same IP address.
They were literally making money off of selling a fantasy that had pretty much 0% chance of happening. There was, however, one woman on Ashley Madison who was real. Stephanie, the serial cheater. Now, I was saying Stephanie just needs to go be polyamorous because she's clearly not a monogamous type of person. And that's okay. And it turns out she's married to Rob's ass now. But it works for them, right? She's a dominatrix. Oh my God. This video's gonna get flagged. But she's a dominatrix. She enjoys spending time with a lot of different men. Her husband enjoys spending time with a lot of different women, and that works for them. And they're doing it ethically now, but when they were on Ashley Madison, they were definitely not doing it ethically. Now, if you believe in soulmates, she technically found her soulmate. She may have found him on a website dedicated for cheaters, but she found him nonetheless. So you're gonna be happy for the girl, you're not gonna be happy for her. I know that some of my opinions on this are not gonna go with the majority, but I simply have a different worldview on some aspects of this whole Ashley Madison situation. I know people who are in happy and committed non-monogamous relationships. I know people who are in healthy and happy polyamorous relationships. I have said several times myself in different videos on my channel that I don't believe in soulmates. I don't think that there's one person in the world that has one other person in the world that they're meant for. I simply don't believe that. I think that's a crazy just concept for me to wrap my brain around. I truly think I could have 100 other soulmates out in the world and I'll just never know. Like truly, what are the odds that my one soulmate in this world also happened to be born and raised in LA? I have a soulmate in Asia somewhere. I just might not ever meet him. I don't know. What I don't subscribe to is, of course, cheating. No one should ever be cheated on. It fucking sucks. And if you feel like you're being led to cheat, then you just need to lead your ass out the door and leave the person that you want to cheat on, because I feel like that's never really an option. Or in the case of a marriage, just talk to your spouse and say, look, I'm feeling a little bored and stuck in this relationship. Can we do something to get it back to where it was? I don't know. It's a tough conversation to have, but I think the tougher conversation to have is, hey, this adulterer's website just got hacked and my name's gonna be on it. That's a much tougher conversation to have. On the flip side, I get not feeling like just because you married someone, that should be the only person you're with literally for the rest of your life. Forever is a very long time. So truly, I might be one of few people who am kind of down the middle on the idea that somebody could want to cheat. I don't agree with the cheating, but I can understand why, and I do understand that people make mistakes. This documentary went a lot deeper than I expected. Like I said, I had heard of it years ago, but I didn't know exactly what it entailed. It was a wild ride for sure. That being said, I am officially on my YouTube break for the next couple of weeks. I will return in early June. If you want to keep in touch with me until then, come find me over on Discord. There's not crazy active conversations happening there, but I am still watching Survivor 46, so I'm dropping my thoughts every time I watch a new episode on that. And if you just want to say, hey, come on by. Discord link is in the description box. I'm gonna go get this edited and up to y'all. And I am very interested to see any thoughts and comments on this documentary, especially in regards to my POV on it. And until then, I will see y'all later. Bye. And there it is. Wait, let's get into it. Oh, I feel like super close, but maybe I just feel that way. And oh my god, guys, I had a crazy Charlie horse this morning in my calf at like 1 a.m. Insanity. It still hurts. I'm like still trying to like massage it out, and it's not giving. But anyway, okay, that's such a good intro. I did good on that. That's a good intro. I did that. It actually ended up making a but we all know that deleting account. Hey y'all, it's Nae. Welcome. Was I looking at the lens? There we go. What was the name of the people? What did they say? Internal team? Infiltration team? Hold on. Team. Impact team. Jesus. Like, what are they called? Oh man. I think more than anything, this documentary. Why can I say documentary? What's that girl's name? The one that plays Wednesday? What is her name? I'm terrible with names, y'all. That's one thing for sure. Miller's Girl Cast. I want to say Olivia Rodrigo because she kind of looks like her, but that's not her name. Jenna Ortega. Making money off of selling a fantasy?
My hands shaking like I need it. I don't know why you got me sinking so